Hello guys, in this tutorial I'm going to show you how to create a simple Springboard application, and I'm going to show you the simple step how to get started. um, I'm using the IntelliJ idea, and here I'm going to create a new project, and this project I'm going to use Maven. And Maven is nothing but is all about dependence management. We specify the jar we need, and Maven is gonna download them for us and add to the class path. So here you need to create the archetype. You check this box, and then you go next, and here you need to create the group ID, which is your package, or you can just use for example, I'm gonna use com.ict springboard app, and then here it's at fat ID. I can just give the name of the project, which is, let's say, Springboard project, and then the version is 1.0 snapshot, and go next. So this project name is gonna be Springboard project, and the location is gonna be on this location on my PC, and then finish. And then immediately it's just asking me that the new project can either be opened in a new window or replace the project in the existing window. How would you like to open the project? I can just say new window, and this is the first Maven project, and here I can just select either if I want to be in package or if I want it to be project, but I'm gonna leave it to be in project. At this moment, as you can see, we have the group ID as a specified, and then we have the fat ID Springboard app project, and I would like to change this from Maven to a Springboard application, but at the moment this is just a Maven project, but it's not a Springboard application. Before we continue, we need to have we need a Springboard starter parent, and this why do we need this is because it's where Spring developers put all what you need for your project to be fully configured. So we inherit from Springboard start parent. So I need to Google. I need to go to Google. Just a second, and I'm gonna Google Springboard parent starter, and I'm gonna click on Maven. And so this is a Maven repository where you download all your dependencies. So I'm going to check the latest release, which is like 2.2.0, and here you see you have Gradle, you have SBT, you have IVI, grep, but I'm gonna concentrate on Maven. And on Maven I'm gonna copy this dependence, and then we go back to the IntelliJ idea, and here I need to specify first the dependencies, which is where I add all my dependencies. And here I'm gonna paste the dependence, the Springboard starter parent, and this one is it's gonna give me the version where whatever I specify here, any dependence I specify here, it's gonna relate on, because it's going to inherit from this parent. So there are a bunch of jar that you're gonna need to add in order to create a Springboard application. But in the best practice is to identify all the dependencies you're gonna need in order to create a web application first. But the Springboard developers are very smart, because they know if you're gonna create a web application, their common dependencies you're gonna need. So they introduced the Springboard started web. So uh, we need to go back to dependence. Either I can just type here Springboard start web. So I need this dependence, so I can just select the latest. I don't know if it's a good idea, but I just take the latest version of this and you copy this dependence here, and then we paste it here. So at this moment I get error because I think this is the wrong place. We have to be outside of. Yep. So now we have the dependencies for the web application if we want to create a web application. So if we still having the resolving dependency for Springboard application, so we have to wait for a while when I save. So it's just kind of importing all the dependencies to our project. So as you can see, all the dependencies are already downloaded to this to our library here. And the advantage of using the Springboard starter parent, it manage our version, the version of our all dependencies. So you can see here all the versions are 2.2, so they are going to be the latest version of dependencies based on the parent. So we don't actually need to specify the version anymore. So that's the advantage of using the Springboard starter parent. Okay, so as I said, this is another cool feature that Springboard came up with, because once I add this dependence, which is Springboard started web, it's gonna pull all the dependencies needed for the web application if you want to create a web application. So and before Spring came to play, before the Springboard came to play, we would have to add all this jar you see here that are related to the web manually. So this is a good, it's a very cool feature, because you just have to create, to bring the Springboard startup web, and it will bring all the other features that are related to Springboard web. You see, and you can see all here. And if you click, let's say for example, you have login, you have let's say bean, and if you open bean, you see you have all these bean classes that are already added. And even though I just added a version on this Springboard startup web, but it's not necessary. You can just remove it from this, because we have specified here on the Springboard started parent that it's gonna use 2.0 release. So if I save again and the import changes, still it's always good, because we need to find out why it's behaving this way. But you can see now I don't get the didn't download the Maven. And here if we check dependencies, and then we have dependencies here, yeah, actually here we have a problem, because we need to create the parent. A parent shouldn't be inside the dependencies, so I have to remove this. Let's see if we do it this way, and then we have to change this to parent, and then we have to remove this form type. It's not necessary at this moment. And then if we import now, import changes, and let's see. Okay, so you see now we have all this setup, and we still have the same stuff. We can check if we have the web is here, Spring Web Application, and you can see um, um, so we get the, because we never specify the version, but still we see the version because the latest version that comes from the release version from the parent. So the parent is here to, for whatever you put here as dependence, it's gonna to inherit from this. But if you have done a Spring framework before the Springboard, then these things were done differently. You have to specify the version of every dependency that you add on the Maven. So another thing I would like to add on this is Java version. Here we see we have 1.8 version, even though it's JDK 1.6 version. But sometimes if you use Eclipse or another ADE, then it may give you like 1.5 or 1.6. But if in case if you want to insist that you want to use 1.8 version, then you have to override. You have to override by using this Maven. So I'm going to use Java properties like that, and then when we save and import changes, so we still see is 1.8 because that's what it was before that. So another thing we need is a Springboard plugin, and plugin is it's another feature that will enable us to run the project. So we are just creating a project, but also we want to run this project, so we need a plugin to do that. And if you come to this project here, you can just copy this straight from the doc springboard doc current reference. You can just Google this, then you come back to our project here, and then you just paste here. And if we save or we import changes, or we can just enable auto import, which is cool. And then we are downloading the plugin for Springboard Project now. And the next, and this is mainly used to help us to create a jar or WAR file. For example, if we want to export our project to run it to another environment, so this is going to help us to create the jar or WAR file. So now we are done with the simple configurations to make our application to run, and I have again to go back again to what we did here is just to add the dependencies on our POM file. And here we just added the group ID, which is package, like our project package, where we are going to put our files for the project. And here is the project name and the version that we would like to use. And here we have the Springboard startup parent. All our dependencies are going to inherit from this version release, so whichever we specify. But again, Springboard has made our job easier because you just have to put the Springboard startup web, and it will bring all the all what you need for to create a web application, including the SF4J, and then you have the Tomcat embedded, which before prior of this Springboard that you were supposed to add this manually, but these are all added in, and organized into the version that is it's up to date, all the version that are up to date related to the Springboard startup parents are all added here, so you don't have to worry about anything again. So again, when we have done this, I need to create a simple project now, because this is done. So we create a simple project, but this simple project is going to be on the package, let's say it's ICT 100. The name of our project was Springboard app, and in here I'm going to create a class, Java class, and this class is going to be let's say let's say Springboard app. class, and here you can select whatever you like, but this is class. And then from the from the class, we need to change this class to be a Springboard, because this is just a normal Java class, and actually we need to create a main method, because again this is where all the application is going to start running. It's going to start from our main method, because if you remember, if you write the Spring Framework application, then you have to create the HTTP classes and all those kind of stuff, but this now it's already added to our application, so we just have to create the main method where we're going to use annotations to run these applications. So we need the main method is going to be public static void main string, and we create array, string of array, and arguments, and here we put the curly brackets again. So here we, to convert this application or this simple class to be a Springboard application, we need annotation here, and this annotation is going to be Springboard application. And here you can see we have imported the Springboard how to configure Springboard application, and here we can create a class. Either you can just type Spring application class, and then I'm going to say that's going to call this method, and this method we're going to pass the name of our class, which is Spring app.class, and another thing that we have to pass is arguments that we have to pass from here. You see, so if we try to run this application at this moment, then we are going to receive error. So what I just want to, anytime I type, this should return something, whichever text I'm going to say. Maybe I'm going to create a method that will return the string, then I should get a string on the main. So what I have to do, I'm going to run this app. There's so many ways you can run this app. Either you can just right click on the app and run, or you can use run and run the app, Springboard app. And then you see what we see here means we don't have any error, so we can just go back to the browser and see. So you see automatically it just update itself that it's saying that white label error page, and this application has explicit mapping for /error, so you are seeing this as a fallback. So we need to solve this problem, and the next I'm going to show you how to solve this. So now I would like to create a REST controller, and this controller is the one that is going to help us to map this URI, the app, /app, and display some text here. So let's go back to our project, and let's create another package, and this package is going to be com.ict100. Let's say controller. Okay, so we have the controller here, and on this controller I'm going to create a class, and this class is going to be app controller, and it's a class. And to be able to tell this is a REST controller, we need to add annotation, and this annotation is going to be at REST controller, and it's automatically imported here. And within the class we are going to create a method. Let's say this is a method that is going to be returned. It's going to return the text or the string to the page. So I'm going to create a public string, because we need a string. It's a string, and I'm going to call this method app. Okay, going to say return some string. Okay, so I'm going to use another annotation to map this app. So this annotation is going to be request mapping, and I'm gonna pass the URI where I want to pass on the URI, the one that is going to display this string. So it's going to be slash app. Okay, and then I save. So again, what we're actually doing here, we're trying to create the method that's going to map this app, and it's going to return this turn some screen on the screen. So if I try to run this project again, you may just run using this, and if I try to search for, let's say, search under app, so we still don't see this. So let's see request mapping. So if I try to run this project again, let's see if we still get error. And yeah, let me try to run the application again and see what we get. And okay, this is outcome. Let's try to search for slash app. Okay, red means it's not found, and I think we have some problem, because if we go back to our class and start to run this app, still we are experiencing this not found status 404. So what I think might be a problem here is that we need to look at our packages, so the Springboard, this is where the magic happens. That's where the application start to run. So this class should be able to look at other packages. So if we put all these classes in one package, then it's easy for the main class to see our controllers, go to our controllers and see. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use another annotation called is auto scan or component scan. Yep, at component scan, I'm going to add this package, which is like general package, and these are like sub packages that are within this com package. So I'm going to say com.ict 100. So whenever it's running, it's gonna look at this package and look at inside of the controller and see this app controller. So if we try to run this app again, stop, and let's clear the console, and then try to run the app again and see. Okay, and here you can see it's showing here, or even I can just up, so it's now showing here. So this is not ready, that means the app is mapped correctly, and you can see from this is mapped to this one. So if I go back to the URI and refresh, so we get some string. So it's based on whatever we wrote here, our controller here. If I change anything, some string showing now. See, so we save and go back to the app and refresh. Actually, you have to run the app again. You stop the app and run again. then we see some showing now. Actually, it should be some string showing now. So this is just basic application of Springboard, but let me see if I can add up some other stuff. So what if I want or I would like to have this business logic to come from the service, so that we don't have to use this method to to create our logic. So we can create a service and then we call that service here on this method, so which that's how it's done. So I'm gonna create another class, another package, sorry, that call com.ict100.service. Okay, so we have our service here. As again I told you that our application now, it has an easy way of checking all our classes by using this package here. It's going through the packaging. Its component scan is what it does. It scan all the packages that we have, and in case if it need any class from those packages, then it can use them. So here we have the service, and here I'm going to create, let's say, a class called app service. Just simple. And on this service I'm going to create a method, and this method is going to be public. It's going to be this, almost the same method that we created, and this is going to be maybe retrieve, or let's say setup service, anything. Of course you can write any method you like, and this is going to return some maybe complex business logic, and I'm going to return, for this time I'm going to return the string, because this is a method is type of string, so I'm going to say return string. You see here, whatever I write, it doesn't really matter about what, you just have to understand what I'm doing here. So this is the service class, and I need to use this class on this controller. So we can do this manually, like let's say I'm going to say I'm going to call this class here, let's say app service. I'm going to say service is equal to new. This is how you initiate the class, then app service, and then you import the service from this package here, and then I can now delete this, and then return service dot setup service. You see, so if I try this to run this app now, let's stop it and save and run again the app and see if we get an error. If we find the error, then we can solve the error. So but still we are getting this means that it's running, and then if you refresh, you see we receive string, return string place, which is what we did here. What we did here. So you can see now we don't have to specify, we can just have our business logic on the service like this, and then we call the class, we initiate the class here. We create an object and use the object to call the method that we created on this service here. Yes, but now this is what we used to do prior Spring Framework and Springboard, which is it was hard
you have to create object all the time you create application. But now we have this Springboard is going to help us to outwire, and this is what is called the dependency, because we are going to tell Spring to manage this bean here. You understand? We are going to tell the Spring that should create the create the instance of this class. So the way to do that, we have to use the another annotation, which is called either you can use a component okay, and here you can use component or service. And also we need to tell the tell the Spring that it has to outwire this this class here and to create the instance. So we don't need actually we don't need to create this. You just have to type the app service and then you type outwire, just like that. So now you have seen, if you don't use outwire, you have to create the object by yourself. So Spring is helping us to outwire this class to use this the bean that is created here should be outwired to this. Okay, and then when we save this project now, run again, it should work. Okay, we see here, let me try and see, maybe we have some error, I don't know. Yeah, still is returning the same thing because I stopped the project. I can stop it again, clear the console, and then run the project again. Yep, so we can see if you refresh or you put something else here like 2, you see you get this because this is not mapped. Or we can try to change the, let's say, to make sure that this is coming from what we did. Then we need to change, let's say, we go to the service here and change that it's returned from outwired, and then you save and you stop the app and you clear the console and then you run the app again. Then we see what we received from here, and then we go back to the web browser and you see return from web browser. So thank you guys for your time and try to understand, and the main things here are you need to understand, take your time to read one by one. These are the dependencies and you see what they do, and you can just Google and get the more information about what is going. So please leave the comment below, and in case if you have any question, then you can just type on the comment, and also you can like and subscribe, and bye bye.